Welcome everybody to a SAFR Scan feature update. Many of you have now become familiar with the fact that we often are releasing on sometimes a monthly basis new firmware that enhances and creates new features that you did not have before, but still able to use the exact same hardware. Simply uploading the latest firmware gives you this new feature. And today we're talking about QR codes. So if you don't have that option in your firmware now, please go and just go to the update section of the software and grab that firmware, upload it, and then you'll be able to see the same screens that we're going to talk about today. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go into the configuration and operation of how QR codes work in our system. So right now I'm logged into the web browser, and of course this works the same whether you're using the web browser or the SAFR platform. Same configuration, same options. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to go into your system menu, and you're going to see that you now have a section called QR code. And if I go in here and click on enable, you'll see that I have some options. There's three different options. So the first one is card ID as numeric text. So essentially what we're saying is whatever the decimal value is in the QR code, we're going to pass that to the access control system as the card ID. The second one is card ID as hexadecimal text. So we're going to take in the QR code a hex value, we're going to store that, and we're going to transmit that to the access control system in a decimal value. And then the third one is the one that pretty much means I can use whatever QR code I want. We're using card UID and mapping it to the card ID. So what that means is you can have anything in the QR code, and we're going to map that to what you have in the personnel record as the facility code and the card number, and that's the value we're going to send on to the access control system. So that means you can use whatever QR code you want, whatever data you have in there. As long as it's unique to each individual, we can map that, use it, and it can be used. Now, it's an important fact to note that we treat QR codes just like card numbers or credentials themselves. So wherever in our software you could use a card for either a primary or a secondary authentication modality, you can use a QR code for that. So if I have it in face and card, I can use a QR code for that. And it's important to note that obviously the SC200 was the only one that had this ability built in, the ability to read MyFair, DesFire, I-Class cards. When it comes to the QR code, all the reader lines have it. The SC50 and the SC100 has this capability using the exact same camera that we're using for face authentication. So I'm going to go ahead and set up my system here using card UID mapped to my card ID. And we'll show you how I would enroll somebody and what that would look like in an event. So if I go over to operation, my access mode, right now it's face recognition only. So I'm going to change that to face recognition and access card. So now I'll go into the live screen here, and you'll see that I'm using on my mobile phone here a QR code. This happens to be my Costco membership QR code. So you see I can use anything for this particular case. And as I get in front of the device, it will scan my face, and then I'll present the card to it, and you'll see here that I have an option now in my transaction. So the first one is, do I just want to enroll the person? But now you'll see I have this little QR code here which says I can enroll both the person and the QR code together simultaneously. So in this case, I'll go ahead and put John Cassis, and I'll set unlimited for the access clearance. And then I'm going to just create a facility code. So I'll put facility code 2 and card number 6587, and I'm going to use 26-bit. And so what I'm saying here is that when I see this card serial number and I map it to this face, I'm actually going to send over Wiegand or OSDP to the access control system the facility code and card number here you see as a Wiegand 26-bit. So I'm going to say enroll card and face, and now that record is enrolled into the system and is available for me to use. So now if I get in front of the device, it's going to say scan card because it sees my face, recognizes my face. You see it there, it's a live John Cassis. And then I simply put up the QR code, and now I've created the transaction. I've created the final event. And I can go in, for instance, and change the operation or the access mode to say access card only. And then let's go back here to live. And you'll notice that what happens when I do this, that it's actually capturing me and my face, even though it was in access only. So it's kind of an interesting feature because I can have QR code only, but I can still capture the person as they're standing there in the scene. What's even more interesting is obviously it recognized me as John Cassis because it had my face. But even if it didn't have my face, I'll pop up here at the top of the screen a transaction. You'll see it right here that you see John Cassis because I registered John Cassis and I registered the QR code, but I didn't have his face. And so what happened is John Cassis came to the device. You see me there on the right-hand side, up in the scene there, and then you see it actually grabbed my face. Now, of course, this is a configuration, and you don't need to turn this particular feature on. But in some cases where you are dealing with guests on an ongoing basis, and you want the ability to verify who used which QR code and when they used it, this is a fantastic feature to provide you a level of certainty as to who's coming into your facilities, even when you're not using face authentication to do it. So again, that was a quick update to our QR code feature. Please stay tuned for more updates in the near future. We've got more features in the roadmap, and we're excited to see what you're able to do with them. And more importantly, we're super excited about the feedback that you provide us on features that we give you to see how we might be able to make them better or be able to do things with them that we actually hadn't thought of before. Again, thank you for tuning in and look forward to seeing you in the future.